Thanks, everybody, and thank you so much for being so patient. It's been a heck of a day. Big shout out to Pahumas and to Boy and to everybody here, including you, who's making this thing a success today. So it is my honour, my absolute honour, to invite our African brothers from Kenya and Nigeria to talk to us today. But what I'd like to do, because we didn't have an opportunity before, is to do a quick introduction to each of them. Then they're going to chat to us, and then we'll see if we've got any questions. Is that okay? Is that okay? One more time, is that okay, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you very much. So what I'd like to do is do a quick introduction to Dr. Neliaku, who is fabulously splendid in his whites at the end. So, he is a resourceful professional public relations practitioner, and he's a marketplace entrepreneur. And he has been in the business of business for over 30 years. He is currently the 15th president and the chairman of the governing council of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. Hand up for the Nigerian Public Relations. Now, he has a very impressive CV, but it's fair to say that he has worked at the highest levels in government for over 20 years with many ministers. But I suppose what I'd really like to point out that he is a fellow of many institutes. Now, what that means is he put the time and the service and the dedication and has been recognised, and I'm just going to read them. He's a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of PR, the African PR Association, the Institute of Chartered Mediators and Conciliators, the Institute of Management Consultants, and the Institute of Entrepreneurs, the Association of Nigerian Authors, and he's a life member Society for International Development in Italy. So this is a man who does business. He's a man to learn from. He's travelled to over 45 countries and he's served on numerous boards. But more importantly, today he is going to share his experiences on global collaboration. Now, before he starts, not to be outdone, next to him is his Kenyan brother. His Kenyan brother is Arik Karani. I've been practicing all day. Now, he's also a president. Strangely enough, he's the president of the African Public Relations Association, APRA, which makes him the boss of Dr. Arik. Now, I think you heard it before. Jumbo? Jumbo? Well done. Arik's association actually looks after 40,000 people. So that's pretty impressive. So all of the African associations come under his umbrella. Now, he recently took that up and he's done, again, over 20 years experience in communication, and he has worked across everything, government, civil society, NGOs, and the private sector. Prior to taking up this role, he actually worked at the Wikimedia Foundation, and he worked at the World Bank. So again, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our two African brothers.
Thank you. May I have my slides, please? Okay, thank you very much. I have been asked to speak briefly on collective expertise for global... Oh, okay. Is this working? Can I use it? Okay, excellent. Okay. We'll take a little journey. First is to look at the idea of collective expertise for global collaboration. And the summary of what you have here is, what does this mean to us? There are 5 core elements I want us to take note of. First is that collective expertise will help us to build and take advantage of diverse skills with shared abilities and resources. It will guarantee wider knowledge and access to information. It will create better sensitivity to the environment. Yesterday, one of the speakers talked about being sensitive to the environment, the nature of the people, and so on. And then the fourth one is that it gives you clearer insights into the culture and actually the cultures of those that are in the room, because one person may not know it all, but when it is an expertise that is built on collaboration, you take advantage. But the fifth one is most significant for me, and that is a combination of effective, responsible, and compassionate communication. One reverend gentleman in Nigeria says that it is no longer the correct thing to say that everything rises and falls, which is the thesis of John Maxwell. And he says that for him, everything rises and falls on effective communication. And what this simply means is that you could be an excellent leader, but if you are not able to communicate your leadership, you will have challenge. And some of our leaders are having challenges because they are unable to communicate and reach out to the people. And because of that, the citizens do not know what they are doing. So effective communication becomes very essential. So why do we have to collaborate? Why is it so key? I will read this one because it's very important to me. And we say collaborative knowledge is extremely important in today's globalized society, with several concerns that we have about food security, human insecurity, health crises, climate change, technology disruptions, terrorism. Staying atop these things as a communicator, as a public relations person, will certainly be an uphill task, except you have those who are experts in different fields, that you will now take advantage of all that to have a whole. So these challenges that we are talking about transcend borders, they cross boundaries, and they jump over fences to cause havoc for humanity. This is why we need to find solutions that draw on wider knowledge, expanded expertise, deeper skills, more resources that can be used to do much more. There are 4 key attributes and skills that I believe will help to promote what I call sustainable global collaboration. First is reputation. Take out reputation from anything, there will be nothing left. Because I believe that reputation is a core asset of inestimable value. You cannot imagine what reputation could be when it is in the red. So for me, and for those who know and understand the value of reputation, reputation becomes a core asset that will help as a major attribute in driving collaboration across any place. If there is no character, there will not be trust. If there is no trust, there cannot be collaboration. So this is very essential. Number 2, ethical standards. I won't emphasize this because it's been one of the issues we have discussed here since yesterday. We must be strong on ethic so that that trust element can be strengthened. And then number 3, trends and innovation for relevance. Staying ahead of emerging trends with innovative agility that the society requires today, both for the industry and even in the larger places where we work, is essential for maintaining the expertise that will guarantee sustained relevance in the collaboration sector. And then cross-cultural intelligence. We must acquire solid intelligence that we cut across culture. It is not enough to know what happens in my country. I must be able to know what's going on in Kenya. I must be able to know what is going on in New Zealand. I must identify with India. Today I'm in Indonesia. I shouldn't just come to Indonesia and walk home. I should try to learn a few things about Indonesia. This is very important because who knows, tomorrow it might be that my partner, my collaborator, might be from Indonesia, and I will have a fair understanding of what happens here. And then we have one case study I want us to look at. COVID-19. COVID-19 was massively dealt with because of a combination of expertise and global collaboration. We had about 6 stakeholders that played key roles: scientists, governments, healthcare workers, communication experts, donor organizations, and pharmaceutical organizations. And what did they do? They developed vaccines, they distributed medical supplies, and then they communicated the issues of COVID. At some point, you would have observed that the communication was as if it was being polarized, as Professor Jude told us yesterday. At some point, it was as if there was polarization. Some were saying, go and take the vaccines. Some were saying, don't go and take the vaccines, and so on. But the bottom line is that communication played an essential role. But you see, all this could not have been achieved if experts did not come together and then collaborate. So what does this mean for us in the industry as public relations practitioners? It will simply mean that the future of public relations is in deepening expertise, promoting professionalism, and strengthening collaboration. I see a situation where my expertise might be just in one aspect of public relations. It could be in the area of stakeholder engagement. Somebody else may be an expert in government relations. Another person may be an expert in media management, such that when I have a big campaign, I bring the expert in media relations. I bring the expert in stakeholder engagement. All of us will come to the table and give the best to the client, to our world, to our society. Number 3, it was Simon Mainwaring that said, effectively, change is almost impossible without industry-wide collaboration, cooperation, and consensus. Finally, in the end, and I'm very serious, in the end, all professions shall cease except public relations. And why do I say so? For those of you that want to go to heaven, you would observe that in heaven there are no doctors. Doctors expire on earth. Lawyers expire on earth. Engineers expire on earth. In heaven, public relations is the only function that will continue to be practiced, because we are relating. Right from the day a child is born, he's communicating. If that child does not cry, they will say something is wrong. That is communication. And when somebody dies, relations and loved ones will come. Some will cry, some will tell stories. That is communication. So you see, our profession is one that nobody can equal. It is the best in the world. I'm not praying for anybody to die, but those that have died told me somehow that they are practicing public relations in heaven. Thank you very much.
What a wonderful challenge you've been set down. Thank you very much, Dr. Aiki. Now, if you could, Arik, on to you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening once again. Jambo. Excellent. My name is Arik Karani, and please, may we have the slides? You know, when I was invited to speak about the collective expertise for global collaboration, I wondered what I was going to talk about, especially because I was in a panel with my very good Dr. Arik, who's my brother from Nigeria. And he's a powerhouse, you know, being a doctor and advanced in career-wise. But, you know, I'm still his boss. So I said, this is going to be interesting. So when I was looking at this topic, I said, I will talk to you about what or who is holding you. And I will give the example of a clothespin. I don't know how you grew up, but I grew up in an era where we used the pegs or the clothespin to hang our clothes. And so this whole presentation will be about that clothespin. Now, to move us into the next slide, I want to talk to you about where I come from. So, when I say karibu, you say asante. Karibu? Asante. Karibu? Asante. Karibu means welcome. So I'm welcoming you to Kenya. Why am I starting this story from the Kenyan concept? Because I was born and raised in Kenya. Kenya is a country in the eastern part of Africa. And we as Kenya, we are known for several things. We are known for being the best runners. We are known for having the white sandy beaches. We are known for nyama choma. You know, that's what we are known for. Nigeria can beat us in music, but they cannot beat us in running. So in Nairobi, the capital of Kenya, what we have is a whole diverse city that has a lot of things that can never be witnessed before. We have the Nairobi National Park. We have various items that you can come and enjoy yourself. And I heard Professor Renee in her previous session, she said that certain countries like New Zealand, Ireland, and Australia are paying high salaries and we should move there. I tell you no, I think you should move to Kenya because we may not have salaries, but we have good life. And why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you this story because I was raised in Kenya. And after being raised in Kenya, living all my life in Kenya, I found myself in a quagmire. The quagmire was I had to leave my country in search of a better future to work in a different country. And I went to work in the US with a diverse team. All my life, for 13 years, I had worked in the Kenyan context. And here I am, I have been moved into Washington, D.C., and I have to collaborate with 30 teams across the world. When you have 30 teams across the world, first of all, it's a culture shock. How do you start collaborating with people with different cultures? And you are raised with a certain culture. You are in a different country with no relative, and you must make things work. And that is where life began for me. Life began in the element of how do I shift my focus and how do I use my expertise for global collaboration. Now, in the world where we are living, everything has changed. Communication is in a significant shift. Globalization has really made everything so different than what we used to have before. But even as that is happening, remember the peg, the clothesline? I want to ask you, when you are hanging something or when you are a peg, you need 2 pegs to hang something effectively for it to dry, right? So even as that is happening, the borders have expanded. Brilliant minds are transcending geographical barriers. They are moving into spaces where you must collaborate. Collaboration means that you, as a peg, will need another peg for you to be able to hit the right tones and for you to be able to effectively communicate. As Dr. Aike had said in his presentation, when we had the COVID-19 crisis, it took the collaboration of various teams various professions for us to get through COVID-19. That said, then we have to look at what essentially is this collaboration. And for me, it's described in 3 elements: people, the expertise that we bring, technology, the systems that help us to be the better people that we can do and to reach the many people we can, and networking platforms. When I look at these 3 elements, I now want to dig deeper into what will make it work for you. Which are the pegs that you can lean on to help you become a good collaborator and to help you move with your career? We have cloud-based document collaboration. When I went to the US, I never knew about the Google Workspace, the Notion, and the fact that we could all sit and collaborate and work on a document together. So the first time I was given a task, I went into a document and I was writing my work. All of a sudden, the vice president entered, the executive director, and they were editing, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? And I had to close my laptop, and I thought I was being hacked. So sometimes in life, you have to move with the system, and you have to understand about the cloud-based document collaboration systems. You have to also understand certain tools that can help you, such as the project management softwares. My whole being in Africa, I never knew that I could manage projects with certain platforms such as Asana, Workfront, and to be able to track work until the project ends, the cycle of making sure you're doing excellent work and on time. And for you to be able to track your projects, there's several tools that you must use. And I got to learn about most of these tools. So these are some of the things that really help in terms of how you can be better. I then got introduced to the AI-powered transcription and note-taking. I used to type all my work. AI has come in and has made everything effective, everything easier. So how are we tapping into that? And then there's the unification element, using tools such as Microsoft Teams, Slack, Zoom, all these that have different project management systems. All these elements, these 4 pegs, are what can help you to become a better collaborator, are what can help you to be able to reach diverse teams, and are what I never knew was needed until I started operating in a team element. So what does this whole mean? I simplified you in one word: amazing. It means that in the era where we are living, we must work with strategy. We must use our words with empathy and with kindness because we have various cultural elements. We must be leaders that are empathic, leaders that are visionary, leaders that are looking towards tomorrow. We must have a growth mindset of where people are going. We must be creative in the elements and in the work that we are doing. And when we do all this, then we can become better collaborators. When we are able to look at our words, look at our strategy, being a focused leader, then we can be able to move to the next level. And so I end in saying this. There are certain elements that you will need for you to become a better collaborator. And sometimes some of these tools, even if you have them, it doesn't give you the culture of open, respectful, and inclusive communication. You need to get to a level of understanding 3 elements. How do you establish clear communication guidelines? How do you embrace a synchronized communication with your various teams across the globe? And how do you invest in cross-cultural training? Dr. Aiki talked about a lot of understanding people's cultures and being able to have the sensitivity to communicate very well culturally, whether it is building the reputation or managing the ethics. These are whole elements that we need to look at. So when we are looking at the right tools and smart strategies to be able to unlock diverse audiences, these are some of the elements that we need to look at. So I close by telling you this. When you have your peg, you think of your life as a peg. Always know that for you to be able to hang any cloth, for you to be able to survive or dry or pass any information, you will need a different peg. You will need another peg. You as one peg cannot be effective than having 2 pegs. 2 pegs are better than 1. 4 pegs are better than 1. So the element of using all your pegs in a nice format can really ensure that you get to the next level as a leader and as a collaborator. I will end here, and thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Aiki and Arik. So I just really want to do a quick summary of our points, and then we're going to make sure you ask us 1 or 2 questions. We started with everything rises and falls on effective communication, and we were reminded of 4 sustainable global collaboration points. The first one is reputation is a core asset, and we've heard that today. The next one is ethical standards is always a non-negotiable. Trends and innovation for relevance. And finally, and most importantly, which has been a theme, is the importance of cross-cultural intelligence and understanding if we are to be effective in a global environment. Dr. Aiki challenged us to deepen our expertise, to promote professionalism, and to strengthen collaboration. And he also pointed out that change is almost impossible without industry-wide collaboration. Then we went to who and what holds us. And Arik took us on a journey of not just being a peg, but the absolute understanding that you can't do anything by yourself. To be successful in collaboration, you need 2 pegs, you need 4 pegs, but basically you need to use all the pegs you can to be successful. Arik also told us and reminded us that we're in a time of a significant shift with the communications, and there is a new era of globalization. And we have certainly seen that in the last year with almost half of the world going through elections. He reminded us that collaboration is about people, technology, and the use of tools. And then he put to us that we need to be strategy focused and we have to be good leaders. We need to be empathetic, we need to be kind, we need to be strategic, we need to take people on a journey, and we need to look forward. And then he gave us 3 little points. So today we're going to have 7 points to take away, that we must establish clear comms. Not talk about it, we must establish clear comms. We must embrace synchronized communication, and we must invest in cross-cultural communications. Today we've been lucky to have 2 world experts join us and talk to us about what successful collaboration likes. So I'd like to invite the floor. If you have any questions, now's the time to ask them, although they will be here later on. So does anybody have any questions? You must have been too perfect. Oh yes, there's a lovely lady down there. Could we please take a microphone? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Hello, Doctor and Arik. I'm Andin from Malang City in East Java. Okay, the question is, actually, when we are talking about the role of the expertise of public relations, if we want to step back about this role, I just want to know if you have a tips or trick if you want to do the research to engage with the partners or the collaborators or potential global collaborators. Is there any effective tips or trick to engage with the good engagement? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll tell you a little story about what a collaborator wants. When the chips are down, the issue is about bottom line, and that's value. What value are you bringing to the table? That's one essential element that is very critical. Value. You must have value. It's your value that makes you relevant. If you are not relevant, nobody will look at you. That's number one. Number two, we talked about reputation. For any international organization to deal with you, they must know the character of your organization or the character that you represent. And that's what will give them confidence to collaborate with you or otherwise. Number three, you must demonstrate that you understand your environment, be it your market, be it your audience, be it the area that you operate, because those are the things that we tick the boxes to show them that you will add value to them. And then number four, which may even be the most critical thing, is your creativity and innovation to do things differently. Because if they have all they need, they will not come to you. You follow? So at the end of the day, the bottom line will be that you must add value. You must carry value, because you won't give what you don't have. It's what you have that you give. So you must have value so that you can give value. And then you must understand your environment. You must be credible. You must have reputation. You can be trusted. And then the bottom line is that you are able to represent the interest of that organization. Is that helpful? Thank you.
I'll probably add one of the biggest tricks that has helped me along my life is understanding two elements. There's something called the high context culture and something called the low context culture. Now, I'll just give a very high profile in terms of what this means. Low context cultures are countries like the US, Canada, Australia, countries where there is directness in their communication. So they are pretty much direct. They don't have nonverbal cues that you need to look for. And high context cultures are countries like Kenya, Japan, Korea, countries where we don't tell you explicitly what we mean, but you need to look at it either in how we are dressing or the body language we tell you. So there's more to the communication. Nigeria is a low context culture. They will tell you what they want and what they mean directly to your face. We as Kenyans, we are very reserved. We will not tell you. If it's a no, we will probably string you along for 1 year, but never tell you no. You should just be able to figure out that it's a no. So for me, knowing that hack and knowing the countries and people's cultures who come from these different countries really helped me when I meet someone for the first time, because I know how to present and act around them. I know if I'm sitting with someone from a high context culture, what I should pay attention to. And the second hack for me is active listening, where you listen to someone not with an intent to reply, but just with an intent to understand more where the person is coming from. And sometimes I may not have the answer, and being honest and say, I don't know what answer that is, but I'll figure it out and let you know later. Yeah.
Thank you. We have run out of time, but here's the good news. Both of our amazing presenters are going to be here tonight at the awards. Can I ask you to really, really give a big cheer to these guys. They've done an amazing job. They've come a long, long way. They've come all the way from Africa. But more importantly, they've given us things to take away. Thank you very much again for being with us this afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Aiki. Thank you, Arik. And I would also like to do a huge shout out to our MC and this crew who have worked so hard to make this a great day. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much.